Welcome to another episode of Script Concierge. Today, Rachel and I are going to talk about one of the most important parts of your screenplay. This thing is that thing that if it's not there, can make your entire story just fall flat. And that is your main character has to have something that they really want or need that is going to drive them throughout the whole story to go after that thing. So we're going to talk about character wants, that thing that drives your protagonist or your ensemble cast to go after something through your story and makes audiences interested enough to keep watching. Now, the character want is so important that it is the core of your pitch, the core of your log line, which we keep talking about because log lines are one of the most important elements of developing your script. And it's also like the core part of you figuring out what makes your character do what they do. So in order to figure out more about character wants and figure out how they work, we're going to look at some movie trailers today from some of our favorite West Indian movies, and we're going to try to play a game called Spot the Character Wants. Are you ready, Rachel, to play?
All right. So do we want to talk a little bit about it before we go into it in terms of like the dangers of not having your character wants all the way through your story?
So one of my favorite quotes, I can't remember where it came from originally, but it says that novels are about what people think. Plays are about what people say, and movies are about what people do. So in order to make a movie that really is about what your main character does, your character has to do things. And what motivates human beings is the things that they want. Like Leisha wants to have watermelon seeds on her tongue, right? So she's going to go after that once. In a particular way, right? Right, Lish?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you have to have something that you want, and you have to go after it in your story. So that's why wants are so important, because without them, your entire story just falls flat.
Huh?
Now, that said, there is a place for some genres like the film noir genre. Well, I don't know if it's the noir genre, but there's like, I can't remember the name of it right now, but there's a French genre of like artistic films that are all about meandering characters that don't necessarily have an active, goal. What we're talking about is not art films. We're talking about commercially viable films that follow the conventions of the movies that make money in theaters or make money on Netflix. So when we're talking about those types of movies, what we want is a character who has a really active desire to go after something that they want or need, right? Now, that want or need may change in the story. And oftentimes what you find is a character might start wanting something and then change their mind and be like, you know what? I wanted all that money, but what I really need is love. Or I wanted all that love, but what I really need is money, right? Whatever the arc that takes place is, the want doesn't have to stay the same, but your character does have to start out going after something, whether that something is revenge or victory or survival, like surviving a storm or a hurricane, or love, right? There's something that's going to drive your character. And yeah.
All right. And sometimes the wants and the needs, like you pointed out, don't always coincide. They're different.
Yeah, sometimes they clash, and that makes an interesting twist, right? Because you have this person who's going after one thing, and then they discover that, they have to give up that thing to get what they really need, right? Which often, in films, you often see that being like a virtuous need, So you'll go after going after something. You'll start a character going after something that's like material or on the outside world. And then they'll figure out that, I don't really need that outside thing. What I really need is something that's a lot more internal and virtuous. That's a common thing that you see in movies. So sometimes the wants and the needs clash, right?
Okie dokie, let us look at our first in the spot, the want game. So you want to introduce this film, Green Days, while I cue it up here?
Green Days by the River is a movie that is based on a novel by Michael Anthony. And the screenplay was written by Dawn Cumberbatch. Let's take a look at the trailer.
How's your pa doing?
I'm not doing so good, and it's like it getting worse.
Them can't kill me, boy. I tell that story all and tell your mother that the boss come home. Come here.
Didn't he the man who Rosalie did show the place when all of they just moved up here last month?
Rosalie?
That's my room.
I want to go in the bush room. Let's talk diary tomorrow.
The diary? What do you mean the man with the Creole wife?
Yeah.
Where you want to go?
Honeyland.
Oh,
Hey, always keep your cutlass in your hand when you're in the bush, boy. You never know what will happen. You don't give me that. You don't give me that. You're from down the beach. And down the beach people don't know nothing about bush.
Life, this life is matter what is. Still I'm
you enjoying it?
I'm trying back here. Girl named Joe. She's from Sunday Grande.
I see.
I know my spirit is calling. Sunshine, sweet, sweet, take the love.
I thought he was different, but you just like blasted Joe and all the rest of them drunk. Don't roll me.
Look at you, that lazy man. That's something to make them get fierce. Listen to me, Kodesha, and you ain't stupid.
I love this land too bad, boy. I believe in land. I believe in land. I'm planting the land.
All right. It's heavy. Sorry, I had you muted.
Okay. So based on that trailer, what do you think, Rachel? What do you think the main characters wanted? So just to give you some names, the main character, the young man that we saw on the screen, his name is Shell. So you can talk about Shell when you
Yeah.
get what Shell's character wanted.
I think I get love, and I also get like the survival part as well.
Ding, 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 ding. So it's definitely a coming of age movie. And coming of age movies can have all sorts of themes interwound, but figuring yourself out is often one of the themes in there. And in this story, we have a young man who gets caught between two girls, right? And so the thing is that he decides that, he's more interested in one girl. But the father of the other girl who he was sort of dating, in whatever version of back in the day they used to, court. He was courting her, you could put it that way, right? The father of the other girl who he's courting gets wind that, Shell has another love interest, and it's like, you ain't playing with my daughter. And so he decides to teach Shell a lesson about, playing with his daughter's emotions, because from his point of view, it's like, you have to, if you climb in that tree, you better climb all the way up. You know what I mean? Or if you're milking the cow, you better buy it, right? So that's what Shell's story is. So in that experience, his want is love. And the complication is that he has two love interests that he gets caught in between. So when we talk about logline construction, you have a character who wants something, encounters some sort of conflict to get it, and then there's a hint at the resolution, right? So in this case, it's Shell wants to be with his teenage sweetheart, but he gets entangled in a love triangle with another girl from his village whose dad is intent on making sure that he honors his relationship to his daughter, right? So there, we just put together a sort of log line for you to understand, what this movie is about. And it's set in Mayaro, Trinidad. Now, if you want to watch this movie, there's a link to rent it on Storyplay TV. I highly recommend it. It's a good one. Go check it out.
Awesome. I like that. And I like how you definitely threw the resolution in without giving anything away, because with that resolution that you added to the log line, I don't know what's going to happen. Right?
You just hint at it. It's just like, well, it's either he's going to get through with his sweetheart or he's not. The thing about a character once is it really lets us know when our movie is over, because our movie is over when our main character either gets what they want or doesn't get what they want. So now that we know what Shell wants, we know that the movie is over either when he gets it or he doesn't. And you'll have to watch the movie to find out if he does or doesn't.
Sweet. Awesome. And then which one do we want to do next? So we want to do, okay, so I'll have the names. Want to do Sprinter next?
Let's do Sprinter.
I think that one's easy.
Yeah, you wanna cue this one up, Rich?
Yeah, so Sprinter is written by Storm Salter from Jamaica. It is about, I guess you'll see what it's about in the trailer, but it's about a young man who also wants something. I think it's clear what he wants, even though when you watch it, he also wants some other things. So let me get to it.
Are you sure you want to do this? I'm going to America to help our family. There's no shortcut. Not in track and field, not in life. You seem to have come out of nowhere. Now you're being hailed Jamaica's next big sprinting sensation.
That's not what you do. It's a run. So it's a morning.
The man dangerous. No man can outrun the choices he makes.
All right, no man can outrun the choices he makes.
Yes. That was definitely like, some things that are going on in this one, yeah.
All right. So we started at the southern part of the Caribbean archipelago, Trinidad, right? So we had a movie from Trinidad. Now we're all the way at the north, up top north in Jamaica with Sprinter. What do you think is the character want in Sprinter?
I think he wants to just be normal. Yes, the obvious part is the racing. He wants to win. But I also feel like through the things that you realize he's introduced to, and you can kind of see that through the trailer alone, that there is a progression that he goes through in terms of like his arc. So there is some character development. So I think like from that development, I think he also wants to be like great, but also normal in a way.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about like some of the common ones, right? And they're really like about 5 universal themes that most movies are based around in terms of what the character wants. So love is one of them. We already saw love, right? Revenge and protection. Getting revenge for something that went wrong, right? Protecting your family or your loved ones from harm. Victory is another one, and often with like team sports and athletic movies, victory is the goal, like the Karate Kid kind of goal, right? So you want to win. And then another one is survival, when you're going to survive storms or like natural disasters. So if you're looking at those 5, for Sprinter, I would definitely say victory is the goal. But I agree that for this character, when you watch the movie, victory doesn't just mean winning the race. It also means being able to live a life that is comfortable and normal, right? And so then we talk about the wants and the needs, right? The character has needs, which include connecting with his mother. That's part of his normal, right? His normal is being able to connect with his mother and have a good relationship with her. And she's abroad, right? So he wants to connect with her. He wants to be able to have like, to be able to enjoy his youth. But he also wants to win. He also wants to be able to say that I'm victorious at something. He has a big brother who is an athlete as well, and has a legacy in terms of his victories. And so he wants a legacy of his own. And so I think victory is definitely the character wants there. And if I had to construct a log line for it, again, we'd start with the character want. We'll say a young athlete wants to make a name for himself in the sport, but must find his own race to run so that he can be victorious, right? And I say that because, again, if you've seen the movie, and maybe you got a hint of it in the trailer, maybe, not really, but maybe a little bit of hint of it, the character starts out by running a race that's, I think, long distance. And then it turns out that sprinting is really his forte. And when he finds his forte, he like smashes it, right? And he gets that victory that he is looking for. So I think victory is definitely the character want here. And again, we're going to put together the character want with the main conflict in the movie, and then hint at the resolution. And all of that comes together to make an easy pitch / logline.
I wonder what their actual logline was. I never really looked at it. So what do we have next? Cutlass?
Yeah, let's look at the Cutlass.
Okay.
Cutlass is another movie out of Trinidad and Tobago. It's a thriller / horror that gets a little bit dark, right? And it's written by Teneille Newallo.
I'm not a horror fan. Like, that's the one genre I'm just like...
Fun fact, though, horrors are apparently one of the best-selling international genres. When it comes to making a film that's going to sell well internationally, horrors and thrillers are high up on that list.
I can see it. I'm just not going to watch it. I can even be like in the production. I'm just not going to watch it.
I heard that.
Because even reading like a script that has like spiritual elements to it, like when I read that, I get really tired. Like it drains me. So I'm not a fan, you know?
Yes, I understand. I get it. All right, so let's watch the trailer for Cutlass. Ooh, scary.
Jake, so please.
On the floor. Oh! How could you not know they were taking her? So the guy shut the breakers off. Joanna!
Tyler, I think you should just go.
I don't want to stay. I gotta stay. You want to be of any use? I'll be back as drunk. That is absolutely unnecessary. I can assure you that the police is quite equipped to handle the situation.
Also, then you can also show me of another unsolved case.
Yeah. Listen. I know these people. I know how they think. This situation is too dangerous.
Today's one.
I want my money.
I will get back in. What else?
The kidnapper said if there's any sign of police involvement, the deal is off and I'm joking. Follow instructions. My release is guaranteed.
Okay. What's up?
Everybody just put the helicopter surveying the area. I have 50 men on the ground.
Parking in the middle of the road. I walk out my to the clearing.
Just no police.
I've given you everything that you've asked for. Now what's my corner?
Give me back my daughter.
Let go!
All right. Rachel, the floor is yours. Let's take a guess. What is the character wants in the Cutlass?
Survival and vengeance. I can never choose one. Survival.
And then I think, well, I've seen the movie, so I know that the young lady who we saw in the kidnap scenario, she was like on the phone telling them just do what he says, that kind of stuff. She's really the protagonist, right? And the other characters are supporting characters. So if I were to write a logline around her, it would definitely be based on survival. What she wants to do is survive that kidnapping. Now the supporting characters want to protect her, right? So their want is to protect. Give me back my daughter. That's protection, right? But she wants to survive. So I would say that a young woman must survive her kidnapper when he takes her deep into the forest of Trinidad and holds her family ransom. Something like that would be the logline for this, based on the character want of survival. Yeah.
I like it. I actually want to watch it. You said horror, and I'm like, no, but I like the trailer.
Good one. And it's not like horror. It's actually not that gruesome. Maybe I shouldn't even call it a horror. I should call it more of a thriller, because it's not very bloody, and it's not really like neat into that horror genre in terms of there's no monsters and that sort of stuff. It's more of like a thriller, suspense thriller. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Where can we watch it? Do you know?
If you go to the cutlassmovie.com, you will see all of the options that you have available to be able to watch this movie on demand, etc., etc., etc. So check them out at the cutlassmovie.com.
Awesome. I will link that in the description as well. We got more for this one. See You Yesterday. I enjoyed this movie.
This is definitely one of my favorites. I haven't seen it yet, but it's one of my favorite like story concepts, right? It's really, really fun. So See You Yesterday is actually by a Guyanese writer named Stefon Bristol. And it was written by him and Fredrica Bailey. So they're co-writers, two writers on this project. Big up Guyana.
All right, I'm gonna grab it here. I really love that it's like sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the genre made me more happy than anything else. I'm like, okay, we're getting into, for us by us sci-fi.
When we get this up and running, we gonna be out of here. Stanford, Morehouse, Summit.
This is something Einstein spent his entire life trying to do.
We proved that time travel into the past is possible if we just give it some time.
Scary, but you inspired me. You going places, CJ, and since Pops is going, I gotta make sure that you get this.
I don't need you always playing Big Brother.
I'm the only big brother you've got. NYPD will move!
Calvin Walker, a 19-year-old black teen, was allegedly shot and killed by an NYPD officer. Walker was armed with nothing but a cell phone.
I'm so sorry about all this. I could go back and fix it up.
If we just go back, get them out of there, then he's safe.
We only have so many times to get this right. Everything's gonna need to be perfect.
What's today's date? June 28th. Sebastian, this has to work. Oh, what?
They're too late. It's about controlling something we obviously have no control over.
My brother didn't deserve this. Just listen, yo.
How many times have you jumped back, CJ? We're not superheroes.
Where is the justice?
We can't do this anymore.
We only have 2 jumps left.
Where is the justice for our sons and our daughters? When will it end for the whole nation?
You gotta listen to us. You're going to get killed.
Ba-dum.
All right. So again, let's say what the character wants. Rachel.
Victory.
Listen.
I say victory because they have to make this thing work.
Victory. Okay, I think that's a good guess, and I disagree. I
Tell me.
think that it is protection. Because the reason that they want to build this time machine is to go back and save somebody,
Yeah,
right?
that was an option. Protection.
To turn the hands of time back and stop this guy from getting killed by the police. So since that's the motivation for the whole time machine, then it's really about protection, protecting a loved one. Yeah. So the logline would go something like 2 teenagers build a time machine to go back in time and save their friend from being shot by a police officer. Yeah, I'd watch it, right? With the logline again.
Yeah, I would watch it again, but seeing the trailer was actually triggering. I was like, I like it, and then I saw the trailer. I'm like, oh.
So yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about this movie, right? It has these themes in it that are so relevant to the painful experience right now of being Black in the United States and really everywhere, right? The global Black, the global African experience, and also the global state versus people experience, right? Because you have the police as a symbol of protecting, the states. And
Sorry, what is the police protecting? It's not people.
I'm saying symbol of, right? But the police protecting whatever they police. So they're supposed to say we're protecting people, but we know that all of these conflicts that are happening would not be happening if that was what they actually do, right? Because it's all over the world that police brutality is a thing. So that's why I'm saying they're a symbol of protection, right? And you have people all over the world really just coming out and sharing their stories of how police exploit their power, and in particular in the U.S., the murder rate of police officers killing Black people in particular, as everybody knows, is very alarming and has the entire global Black population, and really anybody who's a human being in the whole world right now is very, very concerned and watching the U.S. with broken hearts, really. So you have such a heavy theme, and you put it in a sci-fi movie with these 2 young people who are going to use the sci-fi, technology to go back and do something about it. And I think that's a very, very satisfying kind of story to tell right now, because it gives you an opportunity to see redemption in a way that maybe you don't see it in real life right now, huh? Right? So it's nice to be able to imagine those things and to have a vision that puts forward, you know, correcting the wrongs of the past. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. It's a hard one for me right now to end it on, but that was fun.
So, well, let's bring it back to the lighter aspect of this whole thing, which is that when it comes to screenwriting, you have a character that your story is about. Sometimes it's one character, two characters, or an ensemble cast, like a superhero movie, right? And today we just want to drive home that your character really needs to want something and to go after that want throughout your movie, because that's really the heart of your movie. What your character wants and goes after is going to drive all of your character's actions. So we hope that when you're writing, you're going to be thinking about your character wants and making sure that your character really has an active want to go after to make your movie stronger.
And enough obstacles to make it interesting.
Once they have that want, now you have to put a whole bunch of things that gets in the way. So there's the want over here, there's a character over here, and in between, obstacle, conflict. You just get to make up as many problems as you can to come between the want and the character. Yeah?
Yes. All right. That was good. So until the next video, if you're like what we're doing, please subscribe, share with someone who's, you know, getting started in writing, and we're just gonna keep doing this until the wheels fall off.
Sure to visit isleandindies.com. We have a bunch of resources there for writers of every stage. If you're an early writer or if you're working on an outline and you're at any stage of your career, we have a great workbook on there that you're going to want to download. And we have tools to buy. We have opportunities to buy consultations and all sorts of stuff to help you get your writing done.
Yes, the link will be in the description for all of those things. And we'll see you later.